Bonjour, bienvenue. Welcome to another video. And I was flipping around on YouTube and I went on to a YouTube channel that's titled Happier Abroad. It's a channel that's run by Winston Wu. And and in the past I did some videos, Winston Wu related videos on this channel. And kind of got away from that and just went on to other things. I was I ran away from Winston Wu's uh, philosophy on how America is. And I kind of got away from that and kind of got sucked back into the toxicity of the USA. And in this video, I wanna return to Winston Wu. I stumbled upon one of his videos on his YouTube channel back in 2016. A year before I went overseas, and everything he said in that video just tells the truth on how the U.S. is. He made me see that. What made me angry, what made me lose it, what made me snap, what made me be so dysfunctional and toxic and and mean and cruel and vicious. What made me be all that was society here in America. He's telling me that the problem isn't me, the problem is the country that I'm living in, the USA. And I'm gonna read some things from his forum titled "Dating Foreign Women, Moving Abroad, Escaping America for a Better Life." Okay, I'm gonna read some things and give my thoughts on it. Okay, America has one of the worst social scenes and social cultures. There is no social or human connection with others. The environment is too socially disconnected, segregated, isolating, paranoid, and fake. It's very hard to make any normal friends. The social vibe feels very negative. Everybody wants to be left alone in their own bubbles. People don't like to meet people or connect with others. Americans act too fake, arrogant, narcissistic, and toxic, making it hard to get along with them. Conversations are usually business related only, especially with strangers. Thus, America is probably the loneliest country in the world. I'm gonna stop right there. And that's true. Seeing all those mass shootings that's happening here in the U.S. That this has a connection to that. It's like, for instance, if you're isolated from everybody, because keep in mind, we're human beings. We're meant to communicate with one another. And if everybody's all walled off from each other, everybody separated from one another, I say, someone's holding them down, keeping them in the house if they have a disability, and just go and do things for them, or they're lonely, they're socially awkward, they're shy, they're scared to talk to someone. They don't know how to socialize with anybody, because also they come from a dysfunctional family, you know, and then been picked on and bullied. That will have a lot of destruction to their mental health and causes them to go out and go out and buy a gun easily through through loose lax gun laws in this country, and just go on a mass shooting. They shoot and kill people, turn a gun on themselves, shoot and kill themselves, or worse, get shot and killed by police. Or they go out and commit suicide. you know all those things, just has a connection to what I just read. It's kind of sad, and it is. So let me read another one. Okay. America has the worst dating scene for most men. The women and girls are too spoiled and given too much power, making them highly fake, arrogant, narcissistic, picky, toxic, unfriendly, and unapproachable, with the worst attitude. Thus, they are the hardest females to connect with, and the furthest thing from authenticity that you can't get. Also, they are way too difficult and entitled. Their standards are way too high for most men, for they seek the top 10 or 15% of men. Since they are too independent and don't need men, they either want the best men or nothing at all. This makes America the worst dating scene for men, totally nightmarish, hostile, and loop-sided. As a result, there are more single males without dating choices in America than in any other country. I'm gonna talk about this. I'm gonna use the men from the TV show Dateline to Catch a Predator. Um, it's a show about Chris Hansen is the host, and a house is set up as a sting operation house, and they have usually a woman who plays an underage child, a minor, that talk to these men online who are predators. They talk to she talks to them online, and she tells them where they live, where they live. She tells them where she lives. Excuse me, and they go to the sting house, and the woman who plays a minor. Hello, you see me? It's like I'm going dark again. Anyway, she plays a minor to lure these guys into the house when these guys come into the house. And she disappeared, and Chris Hansen shows up and tosses them what they're doing and pulls out a transcript of what they typed down online, or through perverted justice. The guys leave, and they get nailed by police. I'm gonna say this. Some of the men in that show are sick, disgusting perverts. They're predators, and they do it for kicks. But you got some of them who are alone, who have a hard time finding a woman their age. You know how women are in America. You know, these men get turned off by how women are here in America, and they go and lower themselves to the status of a pedophile or a predator. It ends up like these guys on Dateline to Catch a Predator, because you know they're looking for love for they're looking you know they're trying to find a woman to date, and you know women their age don't give them the time of day, so they look for underage children, people like you know between like the ages of like 12 to 15 or younger, whatnot. I don't know. You know, and people in American society, including Chris Hansen, just just lump them into the same boat as people like you know R. Kelly. So you know, me personally, you know, I'm single. I never had a girlfriend. I never kissed a woman. I'm not married. I don't have children. I mean, I'm not married to a woman. I don't have a wife. I'm alone. But you know, I'm not gonna down the same route as these guys on To Catch a Predator went down. I mean, I'm not gonna go down the same route that they went down. And I'm not gonna do that. So let me read something else with to that. Let's see. Okay. 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 Flirtation by in America by American women is seen as creepy and taboo. So other words, if you flirt with a woman, if you have interest in her, if you're a guy, she and you know a woman in America, if you flirt with a woman in America, I mean, some not all, some will find that to be, I say all of them, I say they'll find that to be creepy and taboo, like creepy and not right. Um, you know, if you flirt with a woman, you have interest in a woman, the women here in the U.S., American women will see you as a creep, a weirdo, a pedophile, or a pervert. In some cases, no, if you flirt with a woman, if you like her, you'll come to find out that she has a boyfriend or she's married. You know, that happened to me in the past. You know, I had interest in some woman, and I was talking to her like I think through email. This was before Facebook and all. She goes and tells me like she said that everything I said to her didn't make any sense and it's misleading. And she said she was engaged to get married, and she told me what her real name is. So yeah, I think after that, I think I was enraged and got angry about it, and I lost. You know, I was a hothead in the past, and I'm not anymore. You know, and I remember my father, when I was in high school, my father brainwashed me into telling me that all white women are racist and they hate black men, and white women are nothing but trouble. And I told it to some people who I went to school with, to some boys, and one of them told me this. Some, not all of them. And then my dad told me that Japanese women don't like black men because of their skin color and their race, and they look at you because you haven't been exposed to a lot more than they have. You haven't been exposed to a lot. You have been exposed to a lot that have been exposed to, and due to your knowledge and how much you know, you don't know a lot, you don't know anything, you don't fit the bill. So that played a part in why I'm single. Why I don't know how to treat women, don't know how to talk to women. So, my dad destroyed me on that, and it's kind of sad. But yeah, don't get me wrong, hey, there's good women out there and there's bad women out there. But not all women are bad. But here in America, there's more bad women than good women. So, let me read more. Um, let's see. Okay. The U.S. is the most mentally ill country in the world. No doubt about it. America also has the biggest mental health industry and the highest rate of antidepressant use in the world as well. A major reason for this is that American culture is very fake and toxic. So in order to fit in, you have to become fake and toxic yourself. Otherwise, if you are genuine and down to earth, you will be alienated and out of place. But in wearing a fake mask every day, one denies one's true self, thus resulting in a split psychosis in one's inner psyche. As a consequence, one's mental health deteriorates and fragments. Fakeness abound in extremes in America and pervades all aspects of its culture and life, so you can't avoid it there. So yeah, mental health. Yeah, going back to the toxic society here in the U.S. Yeah, yeah, built on a very toxic and fake culture here in America. Um, will do something to your mental health. It will. It will ruin. It will ruin your mental health. It will destroy it. And you'll go down the mass shooting route, or you go and commit suicide. Mental health. You got people in America. I'm gonna say this. You got people in America who like to gaslight other people into making them out. To question their sanity and make them out as they're the problem, and if they go overseas, if they leave America and go overseas, they'll say that, oh, you're just going overseas to look for validation. Yeah, and that's just a lie. Winston Wu said, if you go overseas, all your problems that you going through, all the problems that you're going through in America, they'll be solved. If you go overseas to countries in Europe or the Philippines, go to a country that's that's uh, that believes in natural social human connection, where people are genuine, real, friendly, and down to earth, easy to connect with. If you go to those countries, if you leave America and go to those countries, your mental health will be healed. It will be better. The problems that you have in the U.S., they'll all be solved. Dating problems, social life problems, they'll all be solved. And that's something that going to a bunch of mental health professions and seeing a psychiatrist and taking pills from a psychiatrist, you know, that's not gonna help you, you know. And I remember my aunt told me I need to go back to church. Well, I got nothing against going to church, but you know, going to church is a good thing. But you know, in ch- in the church, you know, in some churches in America, you know, you got some. You know, I went to this church. You know, there was a lot of people in this church who were evil. They fight each other. They're greedy. They're selfish. You know, they're evil. You know, that's going on in churches. You know, it just because you go, you know, if you go to church, you know, you ain't gonna find any love in the church because in the church it's just fake love. And people say that church is a place where you go and better yourself and give back to the community. But you know, you got people who just go to church and they just don't do anything because you know they just thump a Bible, sing songs, pray, put money in the collection plate. You know, that doesn't do anything because you know you need to put something with that. You know, you just can't just go to church and do all that and do nothing. You got to do something. You got to put something to that. I mean, if you want your life to get better, you got to get up and do. You got to get up and make it better. You just can't just sit back and do nothing. And expect what you did in church to make it all better. Because that's what the majority of people in America who go to church. That's what they. That's the mindset that they have. You know, my father has this mindset. My mother has this mindset. Some of my aunts and uncles have that mindset. So yeah, if you know, yeah, if you're not part of America, you know, not part of America. If you're not with it, if you're not like it, if you're not like the the average mainstream American, you know, if you're not like these people, if you think for yourself, if you think outside the box, you don't follow American trends and all this crap, you will feel miss out of place. You will feel miss out of place. People will label you as nutcase, you know. And I went through this, you know, after going overseas and watching videos on Winston Wu's YouTube channel and reading his Happier Abroad forum, and his YouTube channel is known as Happier Abroad. He changed the name to it. After looking at all of that, you know, I start to think for myself and think outside the box. You know, and I'm considered a nutcase by my dad. You know, I introduced my dad to Winston Wu. My dad called Winston Wu a con artist. He just saying all this stuff just to make money. And second of all, my dad disagree with me on this. People in America live to work, and people in overseas countries work to live. And my dad snapped his fingers and pointed at me and said this: see, you you've been brainwashed." He's saying that because you know he been listening to a lot of like propaganda, you know, a long time ago before I was born. He been brainwashed by propaganda, you know all the propaganda here in America, you know, tells Americans that the United States is the world, it's the center of the world, it's the only country in the world, and all those other countries don't exist, and America is this country that has so much freedom. America is dripping in freedom, and other countries don't have freedom. You know, and that's the law. That's the garbage that was been that was been that was been fed that was been fed to by people when they were in the cradle. I mean, they were just consuming this bullshit from the cradle. You got Americans who think this. Older generations think this. The younger generation. I think they don't see that. Some see that, not all. I don't know, but some people in the new generation, are seeing it's a bunch of crap. And I see it. It's a bunch of crap. But yeah, but yeah, you know, um, when I went to school, when I was a kid, when I was younger, I was in special ed. I was exempt from all of that. I was exempt from the brainwashing. I guess because I'm special needs, I don't understand anything. You know, I got a little glimpse. I got a little get a little taste of the Pledge of Allegiance. You know, you stand in a classroom, you put your hand on your heart, and you pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. All that crap. Looking back on that, like I, I just I just don't understand that. Like, why why are you pledging allegiance to a piece of cloth? You know, a piece of cloth with red and white stripes and stars on it. Why? I don't get it. I don't get it, and I just don't, it's funny. I still remember that Pledge of Allegiance. you know, I'm thinking about moving overseas. I'm not gonna pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America anymore. I'm not. Well, I'm gonna pledge allegiance to the flag of a screwed up, broken, messed up, effed up country. Why? Why? I don't get it. I don't get it. And looking at the pledging allegiance to the flag. When I was a kid, I thought that was normal, but I'm an adult now, and after seeing that through the eyes of someone who's from outside of America, I just find that to be kind of odd, like pledging allegiance to a piece of cloth. Going back to that saying from that 13-year-old boy who lived in Florida, after this crazy woman gave him and his friends crap, and she tried to run him over, and he filmed it, and he got into it with the woman. When the woman finally left and went away, he said this: "What is wrong with people nowadays?" And that is so true. What is wrong with people nowadays? I noticed looking at children and adults. I want to start with the adults. I know that the adults are, are antisocial, they're crazy, they're out of whack. This is in the US. Adults are social and crazy and out of whack. They're antisocial, they're cliquish, they're narcissistic, they're picky, they're toxic, they're fearful and paranoid of strangers. Um, yeah, they're just all around nuts. And I look, and it's hard to socialize with an adult in America. it's hard to socialize with an American adult. And I look at the children. The children. It's just like this. When you were a child, you meet someone for the first time. You meet another child. You're a child too, and you socialize with that child. You just easily make friends with somebody, and you just get along with them. No problems, no nothing. Nobody's in walled. The kids aren't walled. I mean, people aren't walled off and antisocial and standoffish. None of that. And I see like children. Kindergartners. Elementary school children is like they get along with one another. Now I noticed this, and I know it's like when they grow up and they become teenagers and adults, all that went away. They start being in groups, you know, girls start liking bad boys and assholes and all this crap. You know, and, you know, and that one kid who believes in social or human connection, believe in connecting with people, he's seen as, awkward, weird. He's a nerd. He's not cool. He's not a bad boy. All that crap. Then they become adults. Then they get married. They have a spouse. They just don't want to have anything to do with their former classmates. They don't want to have anything to do with them anymore. You know, it's you know that's just how it is. I hope I'm making sense in this. It's like when you were a kid, you had a soul. Then when you become a teenager and you get older, the soul just dies and it just goes away. And I think that's why I see a lot of people in America who just don't have no soul. You look in their eyes, they have no soul, they have no drive, they have nothing. They're just like a corpse. They're just like a shell of their former selves. You know, yeah, and yeah, you can't talk to anybody. As an adult in America, you can't talk to other adults. You can't talk to them unless it is for business related purposes or they know you. But yeah, it's kind of sad. I'm not into like being an adult and going out and talking to children. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I believe a child is an adult's responsibility. It's your responsibility to raise that child, teach that child right from wrong, teach them things that will help them in the real world, build up their self-esteem, tell them they can do it. Tell them they matter. They can do anything they want to do if they put their mind to it and feel good about themselves. Love themselves and love others. Care about yourself and care about others, regardless if they're family or strangers. I mean, I'm not gonna treat children like R. Kelly treated children. Yeah, I think what R. Kelly did. I think he has a problem. You know, sex trafficking. Minors, child porn. You know, sexual assaulting young adults, imprison them. You know, what he did was pretty messed up, and I see society don't want to have anything to do with them, They muted them by not playing, by not having his songs being played on the radio anymore. So you turn on the radio, tune into an R&B station or any radio station in the U.S., you're not going to hear any songs from R. Kelly. But yeah, you know, maybe and I learned that R. Kelly can't read, and I think he had a friend when he was a child, and his friend a girl died by drowning. And I think that played a part in shaping of what he has become today. You know, yeah, maybe, yeah. He's one of those people who can just get away with can get away with what he did because he's rich and powerful. But overall, he has a problem. He's a scumbag, but he has a problem. But anyway, yeah, you don't have no soul when you're an adult. When you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, you have no soul. You don't care about your old friends from school anymore. Like, you'll hate that person who has a mental illness. You just hate them. And say that they're racist and they don't hate a certain race. And laugh at their misfortunes of them spending 60 years in prison for attempted murder on trying to kill a drug dealer because the drug dealer cheated them out of their money. And all because they have a mental illness. But you don't care. All you care about is they said a racial slur to you in high school and you hate them ever since and you don't care. That's sick. But I look at people like that who have that mindset of someone with a mental illness, don't care about them suffering from a mental illness and why they say what they say to them because they have a mental illness, because they hate them and they laugh at their misfortunes because they're spending 60 years behind bars because they're non-white and the system is set up to give harsher sentences to non-white people while white people get a lighter sentence. I find people like that to be sick. But then again, it's America. It's America. So yeah, America's a terrible country. If you're an American who lived in this country all your life, or if you're younger, this country will bring out the worst in you because of its toxic culture. And you got people, who are from Canada. Canadians, like from Canada, they get consumed by this culture, and Canada is just like the U.S., because the U.S. and Canada have so much in common. They Canadians and Americans, they watch the same TV shows, they drive the same cars, they play the same video games, they watch the same movies, but in Canada, they're antisocial and cold. They don't believe in social human connection. They're antisocial, they're ice cold, they're passive aggressive. Yeah. And talking to a Canadian is like talking to a brick wall. And talking to an American is like talking to a crazy, out of control, out of whack robot. You know, they don't. People here don't believe in forgiveness. If you do something wrong to someone, they'll drop you like a bad habit, and they'll hate you and hold a grudge against you until they die. I hear someone said this: if you can't love yourself, you can't love others. Well, how can you say that if you don't believe in forgiving people? Someone goes and forgive you for something bad that they did to you. You hold a grudge against them. You won't forgive them. You'll hate them for the rest of your life. You know? Yeah. America is the people here are very toxic and very messed up here, and they are. You know, I think I'll be better off living in another country. I say like Australia or New Zealand, you know, countries in Europe, not the UK. The UK is kind of like America, so is Canada. So just be in countries that believe in social and human connection and forgiveness and be less toxic. Be in those countries, live in those countries, and not live in countries that are like the US. So, that's all I gotta say in this video. Au revoir.